Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online, and this is going to be a bit of a long video because we have a lot to talk about. Before we get into the video, consider dropping a like, helps me out a lot, and subscribing if you guys like this style of content and you find it useful. With that being said, we of course have the Independence Day stuff in GTA Online for the remainder of this update week until July 9th. That means things like the Western Sovereign that you guys can see here on screen, as well as the Liberator, all the special liveries and Independence Day themed things are all in GTA Online this week, and they're all 40% off, which is really cool. So that is something to keep in mind. We have a weekly challenge this week in Online, and if you win 2 races, you will receive the Fireworks bucket hat and $100,000. So that's okay if you want to do it. Select races are 4 times money and 4 times RP for the remainder of this week, so this is something that I do recommend doing if you have some people to play with, and even if you don't, this is going to be a pretty good way to make some money. We also have select community series jobs on triple money and triple RP for the remainder of this week, which is also a really good way to make money, so consider doing this as well. For some further bonus money activities, we have double money and double RP on auto shop client jobs through the auto shop, and we also have double money and double RP on tow truck services. So both of those are going to be pretty good ways to make money this week. I would definitely recommend doing the tow truck if you have the salvage yard, and if you have the auto shop, you should do the client jobs as well. Starting off with the property discounts this week, guys, we have 30% off of nightclubs, not including renovations though. Renovations are going to be full price, so if you want to buy a nightclub this week, you can get one for cheap. 30% off, not a bad discount. You just can't upgrade it for that same 30% off, which is unfortunate, but I would say at least get a nightclub for sure. 30% off if you don't have one yet. Now is definitely a good time to do that. Salvage yards are also 30% off. I do recommend getting a salvage yard. I think as far as location goes, the Strawberry location is by far the best. Unfortunately, again, these are not 30% off when it comes to the renovations. It's only the initial purchase price. So if you want a salvage yard, now's definitely a good time to get it. You can get all the other stuff later through renovations, but I would at least get a salvage yard this week as well if you have the money to do so. Bunkers are also 30% off this week. If you're going to get one, I would either get the Chumash bunker or the Farmhouse bunker. The Farmhouse is better in every single way, so ideally I would recommend the Farmhouse. I would absolutely get that one over Chumash, but if you're a little bit more strapped for cash and you just want a bunker, the Chumash is not that much worse than Farmhouse, so you could get it for 1,155,000 here. Unfortunately, again though, no upgrades are 30% off, so just get the bunker itself, and you can always upgrade that stuff later. And last but certainly not least, something that I can't show you right here right now is that Coke lockups are 30% off as well, and you should absolutely buy one, and you should get the Alamo C location. So do that. Getting started with the biggest discount of the week, we have the P996 laser on for 50% off this week. The laser is really overpriced at $6.5 million. For 50% off, it could potentially be worth owning because of course you can call it through Pegasus, or you can take it to your hangar if you own one and make it into a personal aircraft, which you can spawn through the interaction menu. It really depends if it's worth it or not for you, and it depends what other aircraft you have. For example, if you have an F-160 Raju already, I would not recommend getting the laser. It has had that cannon nerf as well, keep in mind, so this is not the laser that you were using back in 2017 or 2020 or anything like that. The cannon kind of sucks now, unfortunately, which is a huge nerf to how good the laser once was. So, in my opinion, generally I would say for most people you're going to want to avoid buying the laser this week, even at 50% off. However, if you do want a laser really badly, you've been wanting one for yourself for a while, now is probably the best time to get the laser ever. I don't think it will ever get cheaper than this. So if that sounds enticing to you, you may want to pull the trigger on it. Staying on Warstock, we also have the Vapid Caracara 40% off this week, going for $1,065,000. It has this gun on the back of it, which is cool in theory, but it has absolutely no armor. You can also only modify it inside the Avenger or MOC, so you got to make sure you own one of those before you purchase it. But unfortunately, with the Caracara, you get no customization. This is what the truck will look like. You can change the wheels, you can change the tint, and you can change the color, but other than that, it's going to look just like it does in the picture. If that seems reasonable to you for just under $1.1 million, then you may want to consider purchasing it, but there are much better vehicles that you can get for around this amount of money. So I would only purchase this thing if you really just want the Caracara and you've been wanting one for a while. It is a cool truck, I'm not saying it's not. I just don't know that it's 100% worth this amount of money. Next up, we have the Vapid Liberator, which is a monster truck, and it is a Pegasus vehicle exclusively. You cannot store this in any personal garage, and that is the biggest gripe that I have with it. Not that I even have a suggestion of where you would store it, maybe in the facility, but it is $445,000 this week. So if you want a monster truck really bad, and you don't want the Marshall for free or 500k depending on what version of the game you have, the Liberator is available for $445, which I think, you know, it is a really fun monster truck, and personally I think it's worth it because I mean I own one. When was the last time I actually used it? Could not tell you. I could not tell you, and I guarantee it'll probably be the exact same for you. You will not remember the last time that you used a Liberator. For those of you that own them, when was the last time you pulled them out? Unless you make a point of pulling out the Liberator every once in a while, you're probably not going to use it that much. I'm not saying it's not cool. It's definitely a collector's item as well because it's only available at this time every year. So that is cool. It's definitely got a fun factor. It's definitely got a cool factor to it. But beyond fun and coolness, it doesn't really do anything for you. So if that seems like it's worth it for $445,000, consider purchasing it. If not, then don't. Now that we're done with Warstock, I gotta tell you guys that all of the Benny's upgrades and conversions are 40% off this week. So turning the Banshee into the Banshee 900R, the Sultan into the Sultan RS, all of those are 40% off this week. Every single Benny's conversion is 40% off. So consider doing that if you got any cars you want to upgrade to Benny's. Now is going to be the best time by far to do that. Moving on, for some more vehicle discounts on Legendary Motorsport, we have the Invitero Coquette D1 discounted by 40% off this week. I think the Coquette D1 is a pretty cool looking car. If you like old Corvettes, you may want to consider purchasing this thing. 40% off is probably the best discount it'll ever have. So if 900k seems reasonable to you, I would purchase it. If you're into modern cars or like cars with a heavy amount of customization and great performance, this thing might underwhelm you slightly, though it is very good in the sports classic category. So I would consider purchasing it if you plan to race in the sports classic category, or again, if you like old Corvettes and old muscle cars. We also have the Grotti Cheetah Classic discounted this week, which is a way better deal than the new LS Car Meet Cheetah Classic wide body thing. For $519,000, you cannot go wrong with this car. It's a really good looking vehicle. The customization is awesome. It's got great performance, especially in the sports classic category, though it does struggle against HSW cars, so you're going to get wrecked. But non-HSW wise, this is one of the faster sports classic cars in the game. It has good handling, good acceleration, decent top speed, looks awesome. It's based off the Ferrari Testarossa, which is sweet. I would recommend the Cheetah Classic. I think it is 100% worth the $519,000 asking price. Under the motorcycle category on Legendary, we have the Western Rampant Rocket discounted by 40% off. If this looks appealing to you, then now is probably the best time to buy it. I don't think I recommend it though, because I think this thing looks really whack and I cannot imagine that the performance is awesome, but honestly, I can't tell you because I don't think that I've ever actually driven it. So make your own decision on this one. I really don't have anything to say about it other than I think it's kind of ugly for 555 grand, and I bet the performance is not that awesome. But that's just me. That's my guess. Moving over to Southern San Andreas Super Autos, we got a bunch of discounts on this website, super heavily discounted here. We got the Vapid Click Wagon for $723,000. I cannot see a world in which this thing is worth owning for most people. It's a Woody, which is cool, but it has not that much in the way of customization. It's also absolutely abysmal, especially in comparison to the regular Vapid Click. That thing is an animal. It's a great car, but the wagon version is way slower and not nearly as fun to drive. In my opinion, most people should probably avoid this thing. We also have the Walton L35. I think this thing is far superior to the new Walton L35 stock that just got added into the game, although apparently that version does have drift tuning coming at some point, or a drift tunable version of it coming at some point. If you want an off-road Walton L35, this is absolutely the one to get. It's lifted, it's got the bigger wheels, it's got the same customization, if not a little bit more on this version as well. If you want it for $1 million, I think it's a little overpriced, but it's kind of a cool off-roader, so do with that what you will. Next up, we got the Tulip M100 for $994,800. This thing is pretty good in a straight line, and as far as handling goes for an old muscle car, it's not bad either. If you're into cars that look like this and this body style and stuff like that, I think this is a decent car to pick up. It's got some pretty cool customization, including turbos that are in the grille, which is pretty neat. So if it appeals to you, now is probably the best time to buy it. It's 40% off. I don't really see it going lower than that. I don't think it's going to reach 50% off ever, so now is probably the best time to buy this ever. For most players, I don't recommend it, but if you're into this sort of thing, you may want to purchase it. We also have the Vapid Retinue Mark II available, discounted 40% off this week. I personally don't think this car is worth it. It does have quite a bit of customization, and it is relatively fun to drive. If you have the trade price, it's significantly more worth it. But if you don't have the trade price, still for like just about $1 million, I really don't think this thing is too worth it. Cool car. For most players, I would say avoid it. If you're really into the Retinue Mark II, and I think the Ford Capri, if I'm not mistaken, is what it's based on, or the Ford Escort, you may want to consider purchasing it. But other than that, I would avoid it for most players. We also have the Albany Hermes available for free this week. I don't remember reading about this, but the Albany Hermes, for me at least, let me know if it's free for you guys in the comments down below. I do not remember reading anything about this, but that is pretty cool. So if you can get this thing for free, yes, absolutely. This vehicle is available for free as a holiday gift from ROCKSTAR. That's really cool. It's got a Doc Hudson livery from Cars, which is really sweet, and that alone, in my opinion, is worth it to get. It's free, literally. Yeah, definitely get it. Moving on to the four-door section of Southern San Andreas Super Autos, we have the Canis Castigator available 40% off this week. This is a pretty cool SUV. As far as non-HSW SUVs go, I do believe this is the fastest in the game, which is cool. It's very small, it's very nimble, it's very light, it's all-wheel drive, it's got some good customization options. Unfortunately, I wish it was a Trackhawk, but it just isn't. Still though, it is an absolutely fantastic performing SUV, so if you want an SUV for performance, I think it's absolutely worth it. Customization wise, it's also pretty awesome as well. Overall, I'm not the hugest fan of it just because of the vehicle it's kind of based on, but I still think it's very much worth the asking price if you plan to race. If you don't plan to race, I don't really think you should go out of your way to purchase it, especially if there's other things you might want to buy this week. The Albany Cavalcade XL is also discounted for $999,000. I don't think this thing is worth it unless you're a big Cadillac Escalade fan, which I think there's probably 3 of you watching this video. So for those 3 people, you may want to consider purchasing this thing. But for most people, I really do not think it is worth it. The performance is not that great. The customization isn't that great either. I don't think it's particularly awesome looking either. I think that the Granger 3600 LX is a lot better looking, and I would go ahead and purchase that because at least you can get the Amani Tech and the armor on it as well for just a little bit more money. So I would avoid the Albany Cavalcade XL for most players. We also have the Bravado Dorado for $825,000. This thing is a decent off-roader, but beyond that, it's not that awesome in any other real way. It does have a little bit of customization, which is cool. Overall though, I do think these early 2000s and late 90s Dodge Durangos were pretty horrendous, and I think the Bravado Dorado is kind of in the same boat. I personally like my police variant of it, but it's super overpriced and I don't recommend it for most players. I just don't really think it's worth it for $825K. That being said though, if you did want a Dorado and it means something to you, now is certainly a very good time to purchase it. I don't think it's going to go any lower than 40% off. So if you want a Dorado, now is definitely the time to do it. We also have the Bravado Buffalo S, which is Franklin's car from the campaign of GTA 5 for $57,600. I think that this is a no-brainer. You should purchase this thing. It has a little bit of customization. The performance is good enough for free mode and driving around. You're not going to win any races or anything with it, but I think it's a good looking car with some nice customization. Sounds good. For 57 grand, you cannot go wrong with this. We also have the Zirconium Journey 2, and I would absolutely not purchase it. Even for $355K, it's really not worth it in any way. And even if you like it and you've been waiting for it to go on discount, which I think there's precisely 0 of you watching this video who are in that boat, I would avoid it for you too. You're going to be so disappointed. It really, really sucks. We also have the Vapid Desert Raid for $417,000. This thing is a pretty phenomenal off-road vehicle until you go around a corner, and that's where this thing's super high center of gravity will inevitably roll you over. Probably, at least. This thing got released alongside the trophy truck, and the trophy truck is better in every single way. For 417,000, I would love to recommend this thing because it is kind of a classic vehicle to me at this point, but unfortunately it's just not really that good. So I can't necessarily recommend it to you unless you want it for going straight off-road and going on big jumps and stuff like that. That is what it's good at. It is really not good in the corners because of that high center of gravity. So if you wanted to race with it or something like that, I really don't recommend it. For free mode, it's okay. For 417k, I think most people can avoid it. If you really want it though, now's a good time to buy it. We also have the Mammoth Patriot Stretch discounted this week for 276,000. If you want this thing, I think it's such a low amount of money that you kind of can't go wrong with it. You're just gonna get exactly what you expect for purchasing it. A Mammoth Patriot limo, that's kind of it. Not much in the way of customization, if anything at all. Performance is definitely not great. So if you want it for almost 300 grand, definitely buy it now. Better than 460,000, but for most people, I'd say probably avoid it. The Western Sovereign is also back in the game, as I said at the start of the video, and it's available 40% off for $72,000. This is one that I would recommend buying. It's so cheap, you can't go wrong with it, and you get this cool bike that is a limited time vehicle. And I do believe that this is actually going to be the last Independence Day that this thing is going to be available, because GTA 6 will be out by Independence Day next year. So do with that what you will. On Elitist Travel, we also have the Sea Sparrow discounted by 40% off, going for $1,089,000. This thing is cool for the simple fact that you can land it on the water. Other than that, the regular Sparrow is fine. If you already have it, there's no real need to go out and buy the Sea Sparrow unless you have some strange need to go out and land on water. Within the casino this week, we have the Vapid Dominator GTT available to be won. You should absolutely come here and try to win this thing. It's an awesome muscle car. Within the LS car meet, the Bravado Hot Ring Hellfire is available to be won, and this week the challenge to win it is going to be place first for 2 days in a row, which is relatively easy. I would definitely recommend doing this. The Hot Ring Hellfire is the best hot ring car by far. It's pretty fun. I'd recommend it. These are the vehicles that are available within the LS car meet. All of them are available on the websites. We have the Dominator FX, the Coquette D5, and the Albany VSTR. Some of these liveries might be exclusive. Let me know in the comments down below, but I don't think I've seen anything special about it, so I don't think they're exclusive, but they very well could be. I would just recommend purchasing any of these on the website if you're interested in them, but honestly, until they're discounted, I wouldn't necessarily recommend any of these. We also have the Imponte Arbiter GT as the HSW test ride this week, and if you want to purchase it, it will go for $2,347,800. At Simeon's this week, we don't really have anything too special. We got the Banshee GTS in here available. It's on the website. So is the DeClassy Vigoro ZX convertible. The Willard Eudora is also on the websites. The DeClassy Scramjet is as well, and the Coil Cyclone I do think is a removed vehicle if I'm not mistaken. Just kidding, it's actually on the website. So all of these vehicles are available on the website, so I'm not really going to go over if they're worth purchasing or not because you can buy them all the time. Honestly, any of them not discounted, I really don't think it's too worth it. At Luxury Autos, we got the Walton L35 stock and the Karen Woodlander, neither of which are not purchasable on the website, so I don't recommend either of them from here at least. Within the salvage yard, we have two claimable vehicles, being the Karen Boar and the DeClassy Drift Yosemite. You can also steal the Bravado Buffalo STX by completing the Gangbanger robbery. In order to get the Drift Yosemite, you're going to have to complete the McToney robbery, and this does have a special vanity plate, the Las Venturas vanity plate, that is. So that's pretty cool. The Karen Boar also has a vanity plate, which is the Liberty City vanity plate. So that's pretty cool. You're going to get that by completing the Duggan robbery. The Brute Force file is your Garment Factory priority file for the week. The gun van location the day this video is coming out is here right by the sawmill in Paleto Bay, just next to the highway, kind of like the little lumber storage area here. Within the gun van this week, we have the service carbine, the military rifle, the combat shotgun, the musket, of course, which is really cool, the firework launcher, and the knuckle duster, all available this week. The firework launcher ammo is actually free this week, and the musket and firework launcher both are 50% off. For throwables, we got tear gas, grenades, and proxies, and then of course body armor is 10% off. Your RC Bandito time trial for today is Construction Site 1. Your Junk Energy time trial is Sewer System. Your regular time trial is Maze Bank Arena, and your HSW time trial is Ron alternates to Elysian Island. It's going to start right here, and it is going to end at the very bottom of the Elysian Island dock. Anyway, guys, there you have it. That has been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Make sure you guys are taking advantage of these Independence Day themed items and stuff like that, because once this week is over, they will be going away permanently, because GTA 6 is coming out before next Independence Day, so we're probably not getting this stuff back into online ever again, which is kind of sad to think about, honestly. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, if not dislike, of course, and consider subscribing to my channel if you guys are new and you want to see more content like this. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Peace.